We're Group 7, and we have obtained our information from novaproject.com using our textbooks, using Jonathan Dunning and his new textbook, and we also used some classical conditioning information from Pavlov's dog experiment and others, and we use class notes from drug addiction and altered states and drugs, biological basis of behavior with neurons.
Well, how cigarettes affect the brain is, it's like this. Your brain is made up of billions of nerve cells. They communicate by releasing chemical messengers that are called neurotransmitters. Each neurotransmitter is like a key that fits into a special lock called a receptor, located in the surface of nerve cells. When a neurotransmitter finds its receptor, it activates the receptor's nerve cells. The nicotine module is shaped like a neurotransmitter. Its receptors are involved in many functions throughout the brain, including muscle movement, breathing, heart rate, learning, and memory. They also cause a release in other neurotransmitters and hormones that affect your mood, appetite, memory, and more.
And for cigarettes, once you start smoking cigarettes, you buy one, you're happy, you're addicted, but later on, you want more because your body's already used to it. And then you go ahead and you want to buy more. And that's what you do. And you spend more money, you want to buy more because you want more because your body's so used to smoking a pack of cigarettes. Next thing you know, it leads to 2 packs of cigarettes. And then you're happy again. Next thing you know, you want another one. But really, what it does, it damages your body. And it hurts your insides and your lungs, and it's actually bad for you. Most people already know it, but then you want to have more later on because you're so used to having that certain amount of cigarettes. It makes you happy, but in reality, inside your body, it's actually dying on the inside. So cigarettes can also connect with classical conditioning, especially when it comes to the CS, condition stimulus, either an object or a place, person you hang out with, or environment, front yard, backyard, at your house, wherever you smoke at, and then you start to smoke, which is the US, and you smoke your cigarette, wherever you do, and it becomes a tolerance, drug tolerance, and becomes a regular tradition, or whatever you do usually. And then you smoke your cigarette and you get your nicotine in your body and then you're okay. But what actually is proven is that when you have your environment CS and your US, you don't really have to have your US. And when you just hang out with a certain person or certain people or in an environment, it can actually make your body be ready and have your body fight and have already the nicotine approach in your body. You can receive nicotine, and that's how it relates to classical conditioning.
So, Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
That's correct.
Okay. So, we're going around, and everyone wants to know how cigarettes can affect the brain.
Well, how cigarettes affect the brain, and actually affects almost the entire brain, but parts in particular that it mainly affects is the temporal lobe, which controls hunger. When you smoke a cigarette, your appetite for whatever type of foods that you usually eat immediately goes away because you're focused on that one particular drug that you're already doing, which satisfies your hunger, basically. And it also affects like the parental lobe as well, which the parental lobe controls your motor skills. So when you stop smoking a cigarette, you immediately start shaking and like you get a little agitated as well, which like wants you to get another cigarette, and it will not stop until you get that high that you usually get from a cigarette. When you smoke that cigarette, you immediately calm down and you do what you normally do, but your body's already telling you, or your brain in particular, that you need a cigarette to do specific tasks as you normally do.
So, you're talking about tasks, and how does cigarettes actually affect your task?
Well, here's an example. You know when you're driving down the freeway, you see somebody who's smoking and driving at the same time while the window is rolled down. If that individual in particular decides, I'm not going to smoke anymore while I'm driving, that person is not going to drive as good as they would smoking a cigarette because they've been doing it for however long they've been doing it for. Usually people would be doing it for years. So that is how the frontal lobe comes into effect. So as you're smoking that cigarette, you're calm, you're relaxed, you're doing as you normally do, doing that activity, such as driving. But when you stop, your brain is constantly telling you you need to smoke this cigarette or this drug, whatever you're doing, in order to do that task.
So is there anything else on cigarettes effects any parts of the brain?
Well, one part in particular, another part is the optical lobe. The optical lobe controls your vision. So when somebody who smokes, if the smoke gets in your eyes, generally people would say, "Oh, it just burns, whatever, makes your eyes water, not really anything big." Well, unfortunately, when you feel something like that occur, it actually weakens all the things that your eyes are made out of, whatever it's called. And yeah, that could cause somebody to not to go blind unless like they're really smoking majorly, but it could cause you to have less vision. And the more you smoke, the smoke that is from all the chemicals that are in cigarettes, nicotine in particular, it causes nicotine receptors to be created. And what that does is that it's just like how it would be with heroin or cocaine, causes more of addictiveness to the particular drug.
So another part of the brain that I want to talk about is the frontal lobe. You use the frontal lobe to make decisions such as to what you eat or drink for breakfast in the morning or how to study for a test. The frontal lobe is where our personality is formed and where we carry out our mental processes such as planning. In addition, the frontal lobe is necessary for being able to speak fluently on what we truly want to do on a daily basis.
Interviewing Bob here, and he's been smoking for about
25 years.
25 years, and he did several treatments and trying to quit smoking and everything. What else again?
I tried hypnosis. It didn't take real well. They said I wasn't really a willing participant in it, so it didn't work for me. That cost about $300. Then I tried the acupuncture. It cost me $500. Where they put the little needles in the backside of my ears and that, and it didn't really take real well. So they came back and they gave me a free kind of like a boost, and that didn't really work. So I'm still a smoker. What happened? Why I quit smoking was I got sick real bad here, and for some reason I was like down and out for like 3 days. And then when I came back to, didn't remember going to the bathroom either or anything like that. I was done. That was it. I didn't smoke no more. I didn't have the urge to want to smoke. Being around people smoking doesn't bother me. But I tell you, when I was trying to quit that smoking through the hypnosis and that, I was really jittery, antsy, short-tempered. Had cravings of wanting to eat. And when I quit smoking, and maybe like a couple days, and then I'd have a cigarette, I'd get so high.
So Bob, is there do you still smoke right now, or?
No, I quit. I turned around and I went to my doctor, and he suggested I try the nicotine patch. He explained it a little bit to me what it was, and it was just a little patch. He told me where I could put it at, which on my upper arm area here. And each day I would put a new patch on, and as each day would go by, the nicotine from me not smoking would the nicotine come through the patch, and slowly, as I used different patches, the nicotine became less and less. And after a while, I just didn't put the patch on anymore, and I was done. I didn't want to smoke anymore, and I didn't have the craving, to want to light a cigarette up, whether it was somebody else smoking beside me or not.
So Bob, was there any kind of treatments or anything that was pretty difficult for you, and why was it difficult?
I had some friends that referred acupuncture to try to quit smoking. So I went to the place they recommended to, talked with the doctor. He put me in about $500, and if it didn't take right away, I had a free visit to come back and get like a boost for it. Well, it didn't really work for me. I went home, and the problem that I found was that when I would go home, I'd be around my friends and stuff, and they were all smoking. So it made it really difficult to stop smoking when everybody there was smoking around me. So, and when I go to my other friend's house, everybody I've been around was smokers. So it made it really difficult for somebody to stop one. It's so available. It's around me every time, and I want it so bad.